So today I want to talk about rethinking how feeling embarrassed can be a part of really birthing your own hero's journey, and how that feeling of being embarrassed is actually something that can really help you to bring more of whatever it is that you're looking to bring more of into your life, whether that be more money, more abundance, more love, more health, building a better society, whatever it may be. And the reason I want to talk about this today, because for me, this is such a unique topic. I have never thought of embarrassment this way. For me, I even suppose as someone who's, I suppose a spiritual person, and someone who works on myself every day, if I were to think about embarrassment, I would just think that that is that is like my ego talking to me, and that is something that I just kind of want to avoid. This feeling of being embarrassed. And I was listening to this talk, and it really gave me a whole new perspective in thinking about how embarrassment is actually a source of empowerment. So, yeah, in thinking about how you feel when you feel embarrassed, and kind of like what's going on in that moment, I do feel like embarrassment is an emotion that is really built in the present moment. And typically, you feel embarrassed when like the mask of like who you're projecting to be is lifted, and you realize you're not who you thought you were, and in that sense, and that could be something like you're in public, and something happens where you're talking with your friends, or you're competing in an event, or you're working, or whatever it may be, and something happens that just leaves you feeling embarrassed. But that can also be even your own conversation with yourself, where you think you have evolved, or you think you are of a certain state of being, and then you notice that you're not. And actually, as I was getting ready to, or I suppose one of the insights or inspirations to make this today is because this morning I picked up my phone and I just started reading some articles. Next thing I knew, like over an hour had passed. And this is one of my habits, and I realized that it's one of those habits that I'm trying to transition out of. Just spending too much time on my phone in the morning before I do something like meditate, or really any time on my phone in the morning before I meditate. And I realized in that moment of like, you know what, there's a little seed of embarrassment right there, that I'm still working on this thing, and that it's something that I want to transition out of. And actually seeing how powerful that is, noticing that, embracing that, and how I believe very strongly how that's going to help me to make a new habit, and make a new shift, and make a new change in my life. So in that sense, I feel like when you notice where you're embarrassed, it actually becomes an opportunity. It's an opening to help birth humility, to help know yourself a little bit more, to help separate from your ego and realize that embarrassment is an opportunity to realize, okay, here's your ego kind of working for you and seeming like it's protecting you, where it's actually not really servicing you. And it can help open you up to more choices, and it can help even ask you, and I suppose this is where it is, like, I'm someone who's really dedicated to working on myself. I do it every day. I've talked about having a daily meditative practice, for example, and yet I still have this habit, I have this pattern where I get caught in reading articles that kind of delay the start of my day. And so in my specific example, it really helps me to notice, like, where have I settled for mediocrity in my life. And that is one of those examples where if I wasn't doing that, I would just get started more earlier with my meditation, feel more creativity coming in earlier in the day, and then that sets me up for a more creative, inspired kind of living day. So by having that habit, I have subconsciously, unconsciously, or maybe not always unconscious, because sometimes I'm hard on myself about it, settled for some kind of mediocrity. So it really is a place where I've just accepted like a just good enough kind of attitude and approach. And especially now, and especially these days, for me, it is time to break free of those habits, and that feeling of being embarrassed is now a gift to help me to help me on that path and on that journey. So yeah, so I would want to ask you, what are any ideals or habits or conversations that you're having with yourself right now where you may sense that little seed of embarrassment, and where can it be a tool of freedom for you, and how can it help you to know yourself a little bit more? And I think another part of this is really our shadow selves, that our shadow kind of prevents us from seeing some of our own deeper truths. And it's like we almost have like this wall that we put up that prevents us, that's trying to keep us safe and trying to keep us protected. But actually at the same time, the side effect of that is that habits kind of repeat ourselves, or things kind of repeat ourselves in life, and we are often saying to ourselves, like, why is this happening to me again and again? I thought I learned this lesson, and I thought I learned this lesson, and here it is again. And it builds that kind of frustration, and it's kind of like our shadow self working for us. And I do think that being more attuned to how, little nuggets of embarrassment will help us to know that shadow self, to know where there's some part of us that seems to be protecting ourselves, that keeps us separate from knowing ourselves. That as we get to know ourselves and we bring that area to light, we can offer love to it, we can hold space for it, and then we can release it in a really healthy way. And this energy, this habit, this whatever it may be that's been holding us back, in a really organic way is shifted and is lifted. And that is true in life. Now, I often talk about Thai massage, and I think that's actually also really true in massage. And as someone who's been giving this massage for 20 years and had really amazing experiences with clients and seen so many epiphanies and changes to the body, and changes to myself, and skill as a practitioner, I mean, that's a lot of space for a shadow to exist, and for that role of, trying to hide from my embarrassment to exist as well. To say, like, okay, when I'm giving a massage, when do I get distracted? When do I sometimes fall into habits of, like, I know this has worked for me in the past, so I'm going to do it now, as opposed to really just being even more present right now as I'm giving this massage, to see what is really coming through me right now, and how might that affect my choices. It may not affect what I'm giving in a technique style at all, but in the moment of, like, the energy that I put into giving that move, it really is night and day. And I've actually done that experiment in class many times, where you could be doing the exact same move, like, let's say, putting an elbow into someone's bum and massaging, like, deep into the glute muscles. But if your mind is off somewhere else versus you're really present, how different is that going to feel, and how much more effective is that going to be for the person on the receiving end and for you on the giving end when you're fully present? I say let's become more conscious of those moments, and they really are often those can be really quick moments. Sometimes they're not, of course. Sometimes something really big happens and you feel really embarrassed about the choice you made, and I'm saying, whether it's that kind or something that's really quick, rather than push it away, lean in and ask yourself, where can this be a gift to help me to know myself and help me to make a different choice, and then put that into practice on a daily basis. And then, as well as I bet so many of us are doing in our lives right now in making good choices for ourselves, if we become more conscious of this, I actually want you to also see these moments of embarrassment as, like, anchor points and moments of awareness that say, okay, on this day, this is as best as I could do, and I was doing the best that I can. But as I became more aware of this habit that I was doing, how is my life going to change? So you can literally, like, look back on yourself 6 months from now or a year from now and realize, like, because I became more aware of this habit or this choice or this thing that happened, how did that change my life right now? And really just use this as jet fuel to propel us forward. So that's what I want to offer you. And if we want to do a quick exercise right now, you can, and really just, like, close your eyes and understand, like, yes, if you want to post something below, you can, but otherwise, really, this is just between you and your soul and your intuition, and just ask yourself, like, where do I have that energy of embarrassment? Where can I lean into this right now? And just kind of take a breath with it and be with it. And first of all, I would say also, like, have some space of forgiveness for yourself, so that we do understand that we I think in every moment doing our best, and now we're just trying to be with some truth about ourselves, and feel it. Be really honest with yourself as much as you can, and as you open your eyes, maybe write down what came through for you, and let that be a spark of your own transformation and next choices that you get to make in your life. And my wish is that this lets us become even stronger in our vibrations and our evolution in the world of more love and peace and insight and abundance manifesting in our lives, coming through for us every day, and then all those days coming together for something great and grand. And let that be us, and let us continue to grow that way. So that's it. If you have any comments, if you want to share any way where you feel embarrassment can actually be a wonderful tool right now, that how it's going to help you go forward and notice something about you that has actually, like, where you've been stuck in the past, I mean, let's share it and let's help each other out. Sending you lots of love, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.